Hey everyone, Jonathan here, coming to you for today's Fish Fact Friday or Sea Creature Friday, whichever you want to call it. And today we're going to be exploring beneath the waves along the sea floor, and we're going to be talking about nudibranchs. These are some of my favorite creatures out there to be able to go and find. So these tiny soft-bodied sea slugs are like small living jewels. Each one is more dazzling than the last one that you see, and there are thousands of these guys out there. So um, we'll be talking about them in generic terms today. These little animals are tougher, smarter, more fascinating than you may even think. I know when I did my research for this, I learned a lot that I didn't know about them, even though these are some of my favorite creatures to be able to um, go find while I'm diving. So let's take a little bit closer look at them. So uh, with them, most of the nudibranchs are pretty bright colors and incredible patterns that you're going to find out there. There are some pretty generic ones too, but most of the time they're very vibrant colors that you're going to be looking at. But um, there also is much more than meets the eyes besides just the colors that they are. So the word nudibranch actually um, excuse me, means naked gills. So basically, it refers to the feathery structures that you see on their backs, which would be this little guy right back here. Um, you can see it right here. Yeah. So that's actually his gills. These gills are often arranged in delicate crown-like circles that make them instantly recognizable that you have. At the front of the body, these two little spikes right here, and there's different ones on different guys. Um, these horn-like structures are called rhinophores. They aren't ears or eyes, but they're actually scent organs, and this helps the nudibranch smell and taste the water around it to find their food and their mates. So that's really cool that they have that. This guy, little demo model, has eyes out there. Um, and everything. Their shapes vary widely. Some look like ribbons, others look like frilly flowers. So you're gonna go out there and see. There's some like in hard shells and everything, which is be like your flamingo tongue ones, um, and everything. Their colors aren't just for show, but like many vibrant color animals, these are warning signals to predators that they're toxic and distasteful for them. So that's keep that in mind. They are simultaneously hermaphrodites, meaning that each nudibranch has both male and female organs. When two uh, nudibranchs end up meeting up, they exchange sperm as they both can then lay eggs afterwards. And their eggs are really cool. So if you're out diving and you see something underwater, kind of looks like a rose, kind of like a rose bud or head, that's probably nudibranch eggs. So they're ribbon-like egg spirals, often attached to rocks or coral. Um, I'll see them in Hood Canal up at attached to seaweed and stuff like that too. Other things, nudibranchs often have excellent senses, so mainly their smell. And their rhinophores can detach chemical trails from food and other nudibranchs um, over surprising distances. So that's how they'll find each other or find their food. Despite them moving very slow, um, they are surprisingly good swimmers. And there's one species out there that is amazingly good swimmer. I recommend Googling what it looks like. This is called the Spanish dancer. It kind of looks like it's whipping like a Spanish like dress around as it's swimming through the water. They're amazingly cool nudibranchs to see out there. Um, some small bit of science trivia: nudibranchs are often called the butterflies of the sea, not just for their color, but because they're indicators of a healthy reef. So if you're finding these on the reef, it's telling you that it is a healthy reef. A reef full of the nudibranchs usually means there's um, a biodiverse ecosystem out there uh, in everything. So one other thing about them is uh, nudibranchs. There's no two exactly alike nudibranchs. even within species, their colors and patterns can vary differently depending on their diet and their location and everything. So, where are they found? You're going to find nudibranchs all over the world, um, from tropical seas to polar ice out there. They live in shallow coastal waters, especially around coral reefs, rocky outcrops, and kelp forests. But some species are found in deep sea environments thousands of feet below the surface. There are, as I mentioned earlier, there are thousands of them. There's well over 3,000 species that have been identified, and scientists are discovering new ones every year. If you ever dive and snorkel places like Indonesia, Philippines, Australia, or even the Caribbean, you're almost guaranteed to see them. They're small, so you're going to have to hunt for them. Sometimes they like to attach underneath those rock outcroppings and everything, or you might be seeing them crawling along the bottom. Um, but each region has kind of their specific ones that you're going to find out there. From neon blue chromoda, excuse me, Chromodorus to the spiky Nemembrata are some of the ones that you'll find out there. Nudibranchs vary in size, and they can be from 1 to 2 inches, almost to 12 inches. That's going to be like the Spanish dancer is going to be about that size out there. Um, and the Spanish dancer can even get up to 2 feet long, so 24 inches. And like I said, if you ever get to see one dancing, swimming through the water, it is amazing, especially at night. Um, as for lifespan, usually the nudibranchs only live for a couple weeks at a time, so they have relatively short lifespans. Some, in the right conditions, like any other animal, will live for a longer time, such as up to a year. Some nudibranchs can be there, which are typically the larger ones. The smaller ones are going to have a shorter life. They are carnivores, and their diet depends on their species. They're going to eat sponges, coral polyps, barnacles, anemones, and other types of nudibranchs out there. Actually, they'll eat the other species. They have a special feeding organ called a radula, which is a tiny tooth ribbon that they use to scrape and pierce their food out there. One of the coolest things about nudibranchs is how they use their foods as arms to arm themselves. So they'll take stuff like the anemone's poisonous pieces, and they'll attach them to themselves. So that gives them a defense. So, or even jellyfish tentacles, they'll attach to themselves, and they're using these as living weapons to defend themselves. Others eat sponges, which they absorb the toxic materials from the sponges out there, and then when they get bit on, they make them poisonous to the predators, and so then the predators will leave them alone. So these are clever survival strategies that show even the smallest sea slugs can be masters out there. So all in all, I hope you like this talk about the nudibranchs. They might be small, but they're some of the ocean's most incredible survivors. Vibrant, strange, endlessly fascinating. This is why they're some of my favorite animals to go out and look for while I'm diving. From their bright colors to their defensive tricks, these sea slugs remind us that even the tiniest creatures can bring wonder and color to the underwater world. So when you're diving, make sure you're moving nice and slow so you can see some very fun, colorful nudibranchs out there. I hope that you enjoyed today's fish talk, and I look forward to coming next week with my next one. Hope to see you out there diving soon. Have a good day.